So they determined that they were going to go march from Boston to Concord and capture those supplies and get rid of them, right? So that the militia no longer had them. On the way, they were going to stop in Lexington. These two men here are Sam Adams and John Hancock. We'll learn more about these guys later on. But for now, if you don't know, these guys were very important to the Revolution. They were leaders in the fight for liberty. The British knew who they were. They knew how important they were. And so they were going to go to Lexington, where they knew they were staying, and capture them and take them away so that they could no longer lead the cause of liberty anymore. Then they were going to march to Concord and get all their supplies. So these guys were staying at John Hancock's cousin's house. And the name of the house was the Hancock-Clark House in Lexington. And you can see, if you look at that, you can see. No, he would say the regulars. The regular meaning the regular army, the regular soldiers, the professionals, the redcoats. Okay? All right. So he went through the countryside saying, the regulars are coming out. Okay. And so then he gets to Lexington. And remember, Lexington is where the Hancock-Clark House is, right? That's where Hancock and Adams are hiding. And he warns them, and he says,
Two arms, regulars.
Okay, very good. All right. And so the guard comes out, because here's Paul Revere standing outside making all this noise, and the guard says, no idea. He says, you're making too much noise. And Paul Revere says, noise? You'll have noise enough before long. So that is Paul Revere's ride to Lexington. So, of course, now, what does he want to do? He wants to go to
Concord.
Concord, right? All right, because what's at Concord? The weapons, right? The supplies. So he's got to warn them that the British are coming for that. So we have, actually there were three riders. Remember, so I had Revere and Dawes. There was a third rider. His name was Prescott. They were together, and the regulars captured them. So that was the end of the ride, right? Well, no, not really, because somehow Dawes was able to escape, and he went back to Lexington. Prescott escaped, and he went on to Concord, and he was able to warn the militia there at Concord. And they were able to move much of the supplies before the regulars got there and destroyed what was left. So that was good. Revere escaped later on when the regulars heard fighting. They heard shots fired, and they ran to go join the fight, and then Revere escaped. So all three of them escaped. Now, did you know that there are more than 3 riders?
Yes.
There were actually 40 riders that went out through the countryside, alerting the militia in all the towns around the area, and they all came to join the fight. So, Paul Revere is the one you hear about, but there were actually 40 different riders going through the countryside, little by little. And so the militia just amassed until the regulars didn't have enough troops to handle them, and they had to retreat back to Boston. So it was very effective.
Very good.
All right, and these were just, keep in mind, these are just farmers. These are just local, yokel, kind of people, local people that.
They're people like you and me.
People like you and me, who made the pledge to fight for freedom.